Okay. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Samantha Delgado, and I am here in South Florida Digest. Today, I have the wonderful guest of Miss Laura, and she will be joining us today to talk about the show Match Me in Miami. Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you.
Great.
So, Laura, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Laura Jacobs. I've been matchmaking about 8 years. My specialty is sort of dealing with men who are sort of on that maybe second marriage. So that's my typical client. But I also help women in their 30s find their husband, find the guy to have children with, because that was a struggle for me. And I did it. I have twins. I found my soulmate. I found him at 33. And it was honestly the hardest thing I ever did. So I keep it real.
Wow, that's really impressive. How are the twins so far? Are they doing good?
They're good. They turn a year on June 15th. So pretty soon. Everyone says the time goes by fast, but I feel like they've been here 3 years. We always say that twins are lovely, but they're a lot, but they're amazing.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure that they're going to be best friends when they get older. And that's a really interesting testimony that you shared with us, actually, because that was the inspiration, I'm assuming, behind the matchmaking services that you're providing for.
Well, just like how I found my own soulmate and family, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I really think that with dating apps and everything going on right now, it's very hard to find like that connection. Like I coach so many women who I can relate to them. I was in the exact same spot. Like very few men want something real. It's really like going to a garage sale and finding a needle in the haystack, and I'll find that for you. So absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it says here that you're partnered with Devin. Is that correct? Or is it your own business?
Yeah, Devin is a matchmaker from New York, and I did start the agency myself, but then got pregnant with twins and was like, man, I need some help here. So I called up Devin, and I really trust her, and I had her come down to Miami, and we filmed our show.
And now she's in Miami. How do y'all know each other? How did y'all meet before?
The matchmaking world is very small. So I used to work at a firm, and so did she. And we collaborated a lot, meaning like if I have a client, I need a match, like I'll ask her, do you have a girl for this guy? And she'll ask me the same. And so we just like have a lot of respect for each other over the years, like the matchmaking community of the experts that really have been doing this a while. We all know each other. So yeah.
Right. So I see that it's more of like a collaboration rather than a competition. Right?
Oh yeah, between me and her, absolutely. We definitely have respect for each other, and we've been doing this a while, and I really value her opinion, and she really values mine for sure.
That's really amazing. I also noticed that you hired specifically 4 matchmakers by the name of Tiff, Nelly, Elsa, and Tati. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, how do you like working with them so far?
It was interesting. Devin had this idea to hire sort of new girls, like fresh blood, They're all in their 20s. They're all mostly, when we hired them, they're dating coaches with big social media followings, and they all had different specialties. So Elsa, really her specialty is men, and I really loved that. She helps men become more confident. Tiff helps with confidence coaching. So does Tati. So it's like, we really wanted to bring in like fresh blood, get some younger clientele, and just sort of hear their perspective, while also teaching them how to be expert matchmakers, because many of them didn't know the business of matchmaking. A lot of them were just coaches, but it's been cool for sure.
Right. Did you have any other girls audition, or did you specifically choose them? How did you choose these girls? It was one out of like 100 applications that you received?
Oh no,
or
we talked.
How does that work?
We definitely talked to a lot of girls. Devin was more involved because I was in the last months of my pregnancy, but we definitely talked to a lot of girls, and we tried them out. And then if it was a fit, we're like, okay, let's do this.
Love that. Love that for you guys. So we're going to move on to the next question. That is, what kind of results were you expecting when you started, and what kind of results do you have now? Can you please compare and contrast?
As far as results in matchmaking, it's interesting. What you really want to do is get people to go on hold. So we talk about this in the show too. And a hold basically means, hey, Laura, I met somebody that I really like. I want to see where it goes. Put my membership on hold. I don't want any more matches. That's a win for us because it's pretty rare these days. Like, honestly, a lot of clients like, where's the next match? Where's the next match? Where's the next match? If they go on hold, they tell their friends, oh, I met my girlfriend or my boyfriend through this agency, and it becomes more mainstream. We really wanted to make matchmaking mainstream. So it is about that. And we sort of just gauge results by how well the matchmakers are doing, also client feedback. So you'll see that in the show too. Some people will get good feedback, some people will get not so good feedback. So
That's right. Yes. So speaking of the show, the description on the Roku blog says, attempt to get Miami's most eligible coupled up in just a matter of weeks. What's the difference between speed dating and match dating that you are providing right now? Because in a matter of weeks, that's very fast, don't you think?
Well, I think that's just because we filmed the show over a couple of months. So that's why it said that. But speed dating is not really what we do. We really do curate the matches. It's one match at a time. Hopefully they go on a date. They want to go on a second date. So, in the time frame of the show, the best we can hope for is, a person goes on hold. They date for 4 weeks and they go, you know what? I really like this person. I want to see where it goes. You can't really expect much more from that. But I think that's why it says that. So, yeah.
That's what, okay. So matchmaking isn't necessarily something that's like weeks. It's more of like a
No.
month process. It takes time.
Yeah, well, it really depends on the client, to be honest. I've had clients where like the first match out of the gate, that's their person. It's amazing. I've had it happen many times. Or sometimes it can take a minute. Like, I'm not on the date with you, right? I don't know what you're doing on the date. I mean, you could be doing weird stuff on the date that I really have no idea. And, that can happen sometimes and we have to tweak it. I'll get weird feedback from the girl. The guy did this. I don't know. I'll have to call my client. What are you doing on dates? And he didn't even realize it, right? So contracts normally are 3 months, 6 months, or a year. My best contract I like is 6 months. I feel like in 6 months, I can find you someone that you really want to be with. And you've also dated around to know what you like and don't like. And usually 6 months is my preferred time frame.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So it takes, ideally, how long does it take for someone to get matched that you see like a common pattern? Like a month, 2 months, maybe, or again, it just depends on the client, you said?
It really depends on the client. What I see a lot is my clients come to me and they want this specific thing, especially the men, well, and the women too, he has to be over 6'2" and he has to have this degree. And it's all these requirements. And I'm just like yawning, like, okay, I'm going to give you what you want. Right. And then you give them what they want. I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you this guy. And then it's not going to work because if you were doing that without me, then, you would have figured it out already. So that doesn't work. Then finally, after about 2 to 3 months of these type of first dates that go nowhere, they call me and they go, it's not working. I'm like, are you ready to listen to me now? Are you ready to listen to me and hear who I think you should be matched with? He may not be your exact criteria, or she might not be your exact criteria. Are you ready to trust me? And if they're ready to do that, then we can make a match. But a lot of them don't get there. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is serious. I love that.
Yeah.
So how can we catch the show? Because this sounds like a lot of fun. How can we catch the show?
So it's on the Roku channel. And I love that Roku is finally doing original reality series. So you don't need to subscribe or anything. If you have a Roku device, you can just watch it. If you don't have a Roku device, you can just go on your phone or computer, the rokuchannel.com, and just stream it. So it's actually easier than people think.
Okay. And the show is called Match Me in Miami.
Yeah.
So after opening your matchmaking services, who has been your wide range audience? And you can be very descriptive as in age, race, ethnicity, and all
like
of that.
Our clients, you mean?
Yes.
So yeah, we've done something different. I would say traditionally, matchmakers, they're dealing with that high net worth individual. who's in their 50s or 60s, and it's like a really premier service. We tried to do something different. We tried to have younger people. They're more fun to match, I have to be honest. Like, it's way more fun to match someone in their 30s who's like looking to start a family, because you really did something for them. They're like, oh my God, like, you introduced me to my soulmate. So a lot of our cast on the show and our clients are 20s, 30s. I would say early 40s is the oldest. So it's definitely different than like your traditional matchmaking show.
Okay, that's actually very interesting. When you receive a new client and you get them enrolled, what's the process both the agency and the client has to go through to get a date with the client? We'd like the best of both worlds, please. So when people watch the show, they see the
we bring them in. It's definitely a process. We ask them literally everything about themselves. And I really stress this to the girls too in the agency, because this is very important to ask everything. How did you grow up? What was your childhood like? These often reveal patterns about a person and how they're relating in relationships. It often reveals their attachment style or what's going wrong. I ask about their past exes. I ask what they're really looking for. Literally everything, religion, politics, everything, because certain things can be deal breakers that I may have not known about, right? Like, you can't set someone up on a date who doesn't want kids with someone that does. Even if they have chemistry, it's going to flatline. So you have to ask every single question. And I think that's why people on dating apps, it doesn't go so well, because they're just attracted and they're like, yeah, let's meet up. And then they go on the date and they have no common values in line at all.
Do people know when they sign up with
we go
you?
in depth. What?
Sorry, I was going to ask, do people know when they sign up with you that you are going to absolutely like really get into detail about their personal life? Are they aware of that, or it's a shock to them?
I think they know what they're signing up for. I mean, if you're signing up with a matchmaker, if you're paying someone to set you up, you're serious, and what you've tried before hasn't worked. So you have to be honest. It's almost like, dealing with a life coach about your struggles and how it hasn't gone well so far. So how can I help you? I have to know every detail.
Right. And so that's the process for the client. But as of for you, the agency, what does that look like? Do you have a list already, like, for everybody? And you're just like, oh, well, this person and that person, they go together because I just have experience.
Honestly, for me, I think matchmaking is a gift. And I think you use your intuition. And oftentimes before a client even sits down with me and, at least halfway through the interview, I have 2 or 3 matches in my head. I can just tell because I know them and I meet them in person, and I've met the other clients in person. And I'm like, I know that they would go well together, and I get excited about it. Usually by the end of a consultation with the intake form, with the questions, we do have standard questions. I'm like, you know what? I have a great girl for you. Like, what do you think? And usually I'm right.
Okay. I love that. I genuinely do. So last question, where do you see yourself with this business in 5 years from now, or is it temporary?
No, I think this business was my first baby before my babies.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it going as long as we can. I really love what I'm doing. I really think it's my life purpose to do this. At the end of the day, it's so fulfilling when you go to weddings and you're like, I did that. Like, I did that. I changed that person's life forever. So I really feel deeply aligned with what I'm doing.
That's amazing, actually. Thank you so much for joining us, Laura. Are there any other last minute, maybe advice that you want to give? Any tips and tricks that you want to throw out there as to why your agency is so unique, or any advice for dating that you'd like to give the audience?
Just, if you have a grocery long list of all this criteria of your person, like, please throw it out and get really specific with your top 3 non-negotiables. I'm only going to let you have 3, you're too picky. That's it.
You're too picky. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Laura, here today. And we really hope that you enjoy the episode. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.